Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has perhaps found the best weapon to use in his case against Donald Trump. Trump's own words. Specifically, the deposition where he had said on tape that stars like him get away with harassment, sexual harassment, quote, unfortunately or fortunately. Yikes. Now, according to a report in the Daily Beast, it is now up to a federal judge to decide whether prosecutors can get their hands on this video that shows Trump, of course, being unapologetic about sexual assault, making misogynistic comments, and just being, well, himself. Now, that video, by the way, was used in the E. Jean Carroll defamation case against Trump, where he was found guilty of, well, not guilty, but liable for sexual abuse. In the video, the former president talked about the Access Hollywood tape, where he had bragged that he could grab women by the P word, by the genitals, or if if you really want to say,
wet ass P word.
There you go, Ben Shapiro, take it away. He also answered whether he felt that the rich and famous could get away with doing so. Quote, historically, that's true with stars. If you look over the last million years, that's largely true, unfortunately or fortunately. What do you mean, fortunately? There's no situation where it is a fortunately where stars can get away with, basically sexual assault. Then again, fortunately, he's looking at it from his own perspective, letting it slip. Where, hey, if you're a predator like Donald Trump, then from his perspective, it's all good that he can get away with it. But just him. Now, according to court records, Manhattan prosecutors had planned to use this to show the way that Trump had dealt with allegations of a sexual nature. So, again, remember, the Manhattan DA case involves the catch and kill story when it comes to Trump being alleged to have had an affair with Stormy Daniels. And then, of course, him wanting to obviously hide it in order to, stop the news from getting out because he thought it might hurt his campaign. Now, of course, back then he thought it might hurt his campaign, but in reality, nowadays, wouldn't hurt him at all, honestly. Now, the DA claims that Trump's harsh money payments were part of this catch and kill scheme, meant to keep the American people in the dark about these allegations about him, and that's why prosecutors are saying, well, this tape, might be relevant here, because this is how he responds to allegations. Now, I think that's interesting. It's unexpected, but I'm not sure how it'll play out. But it is interesting. On May 15th, Bragg's prosecutors has subpoenaed the law firm that represents Carroll. Susan Hoffinger, the office's investigation division chief, wrote to attorney Roberta Kaplan and had requested the full transcript, full video recording, and all exhibits related to the videotape deposition of Donald J. Trump. 2 weeks later, Trump's lawyers moved to block that, claiming that prosecutors were trying to, quote-unquote, fish for impeachment material that would harm the former president in court. They also claimed the video was under some kind of protective order issued by the federal judge overseeing Carroll's defamation case. However, New York Supreme Court Judge Juan C. Merchan, who was overseeing that case, issued a ruling on July 7th, concluding the prosecutor's request was, quote, not overbroad or otherwise inappropriate. He then asked for clarification from U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan, not related to Roberta Kaplan. Let's be clear. And on last Thursday, when the DA's office asked the federal judge to weigh in, the next day, Kaplan gave Carroll and Trump until Wednesday of this week to respond. So we'll see whether or not this will be allowed. Again, it is pretty interesting to use this as an example of, hey, look, these are allegations of Trump impropriety and how he tried to, of course, bury it. And this deposition shows how he responds to that, how he goes off and how he attacks. He's went after and attacked Stormy Daniels very publicly on social media, and in interviews. And again, going back to the Access Hollywood, well, they let you do it. This is when you're a star, they let you do it. Fortunately and unfortunately, going back to that deposition, they let you do it. They let you get away with it. So that is very interesting. And look, I gotta admit, with everything else going on with Fani Willis and her potential charges against Trump, again, Jack Smith's investigations into both Mar-a-Lago documents as well as January 6th, and the indictments on both of those. Look, I forgot about this case. I mean, okay, maybe I didn't forget. That's a bad word, but it definitely wasn't in the forefront of my mind. Look, in this case, it's still pretty serious. Trump's alleged to have fudged business records, which is normally not a felony in New York, unless it, of course, it is to cover up a larger crime. And that's what the DA is doing. DA Bragg is claiming that what was normally a misdemeanor is a felony because it's related to elections, and so election fraud in this case. So it is an interesting legal theory. I guess they're going to continue to test it, and it looks like that this case continues to go forward and is going to go in a very interesting direction. If this is allowed, well, this could be another example of Trump's own words coming back to haunt him.